Welcome back, guys. If you are just joining us, this is INX Prime Live. Remember, we are on your screens every single Monday to Friday between the hours of 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Now, we know that President Ramaphosa has actually approved a proclamation to regulate spaza shops amid food safety concerns. Now, we know in Gauteng alone, schools have actually suspended sales of snacks and refreshments outside their premises. So far, we also know that about 12 children have actually died and scores have actually been hospitalized after suspected food poisoning incidents in that sense. Now, we are going to be chatting to the president of NITASA, which is Rosheda Muller, who is actually, like I did mention, the National Informal Traders Alliance of South Africa president, and she joins me right now. Assalamu alaikum, Rosheda. Thank you so much for joining us here on INX Prime Live.
Walaikum salam and shukran for the invitation. I really welcome it.
You're most welcome. Thank you again for joining us. I just want to get into this conversation. I wanted to know, what is the official response by NITASA? Firstly, obviously with the suspected food poisoning cases, but also then secondly with the suspension of sales outside of schools in particular.
Well, obviously, we drafted an open letter to all municipalities and that, and to state our horror. But we need to just take it a little bit back and to realize that, selling snacks outside the school is an age-old custom. I remember when I was little, I used to buy my little things, but on the outside of our school, but it was not unhealthy snacks. At the moment, I think there is huge amounts of unhealthy snacks being sold outside schools and also in the spaza shops and amongst informal traders. And we are concerned that this has happened now, but over the past 10, 15 years, spaza shops has mushroomed across the country. And yes, indeed, it is just like the fact that, it is owned by the non-South Africans. But if you look at where these spaza shops are located, you'll find them in the townships where the local residents are leasing, areas of their property to these spaza shop owners, and that is how they gain an income. So it was a welcome income to them. However, the residents and the homeowners did not know that they have to ensure that there's health certificates, that there is compliance, with rules and regulations, and that a license is needed to operate a spaza shop. So now, after this major tragedy of 23 young children that has passed, Allah grant them high place in Jannah, inshallah, because now there's a wake-up call. Now government is jumping around and saying, we need to regulate. Regulations has been there since the 70s. It is an enforcement of regulations that is lacking. And I do believe the lack of capacity that government has.
No, without a doubt. And I mean, just the fact that the president has just come out with a proclamation, I think it is a step in the right direction. But I want to go back onto this conversation that we're having right now. And I know you mentioned the fact that, some of them actually go out and hand over, their businesses or the spaces to be able to allow, like foreign nationals to come in and make use of the spaces. But I want to touch on something bigger than that. Now, in your opinion, is there a missing link in terms of the value chain or the ecosystem between, for example, big warehouses and then obviously that of the informal traders, especially when it comes to things like health and safety standards? Because, when you're looking at your big warehouses, for example, a lot of them pass a lot of those standards, but you don't see the same thing happening in informal traders, right?
Yeah, well, you see, informal traders will go where the bargains are. You must know. Informal traders are people who eke out a survival. They are the unemployed, the unskilled, and they have to earn a living. And the majority are women. And women, a mother's not going to allow her child to go sleep tonight without bread and food on the table. So the mother will go out there to go and see what she can buy to then on-sell for a profit. They are not skilled enough to know that they have to check for SABS standards of approval. So if they go to the big warehouses, like the brands that they do buy from, it is fine because we know that they are compliant. But when you go to a small warehouse in your township and you don't even know what the ingredients of the product is, then we have a problem.
Very,
And
very
I
true.
think that is currently happening.
Yeah, we've seen that happening a lot. I mean, I'm just looking at social media. I think a lot of the videos that are trending and a lot of them that are getting a lot of shares and unfortunately, I wouldn't even call it likes, more just attention, is the ones where we are seeing government officials going into informal, traders and finding all of these products that are, either expired or dupes, for example, and we're seeing a lot of that. I wanted to know, are you able to speak to us about the actual products that are actually in dispute or are affected by this crisis? I mean, we did see stuff like, for example, purity and baby products. We've also seen a lot of dupes with other products, but is there other products besides those that are always being affected?
Well, I think if you're going to bring food products that's outdated, it could affect children. So even if that comes from the big brands, the big wholesalers, it will still affect. And therefore, we have to ensure that our traders do not sell by date, after sell by date and dated products. But then you also need to realize that our non-South African spaza shop owners, they are the majority in the country. And they have mushroomed throughout South Africa. And they've even gone to a point where they manufacture their own products. Now we see this colored popcorns and this chips that's very, crazily colored and that. We don't know yet as the investigations are ongoing. But we need to realize it is unhealthy products that's currently on the market. And I think we need to control that as well, that there needs to be regulation on products that are sold, and they must be SABS, standards approved.
Yeah, we hope to see that as like a blanket kind of a process moving forward. I just want to touch on that. The government has actually targeted a lot of these, spaza shop industry in particular, but we also know that a lot of it is actually run, like you did mention, by foreign nationals in that sense. So, I mean, just touching on the fact that, in terms of regulating this industry, is it something that's possible very, very soon?
Indeed, I don't know if you're aware of the new draft that has come out, the new draft bylaw that has come out from COCTA that we have all received, and I can forward it to you, because in there it's very clearly jacking up regulations. I wouldn't call them red tape. We realize that because of the crisis in our country, that we have to have stricter regulations, in particular with food safety and security.
No, definitely, without a doubt. I'm looking forward to definitely finding out more as to what happens with this process. But again, Rosheda, thank you so much for joining us tonight on INX Prime Live.
It is a great pleasure.
No, it's
Salam.
such a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. That is Rosheda Muller, who is actually the president of NITASA, just sharing with us more information about the possible regulation of spaza shops in South Africa. Now, we are looking forward to see what is going to happen over the next few days and weeks. But on that note, we are going to take a quick ad break. We'll come right back.